G'day there, ladies and gents of the internet. I am the Braveheart Aussie, and welcome to a journey in world building. We're doing another live stream session in which we will be just exploring the Dark Diaspora settings, in particular, continuing our journey for this second session of the character of Nathaniel Johansson. Here is the stud right here. Ready to cast himself out into the wild, well, has cast himself out into the wilds of the universe. Did not go well. Crashed on a planet, a water world. He has come to understand is called Ozovin. Has been drifting through the wilds of the waters on a floating island called a floaton, and is now making his way very soon, another day or so, to the capital of the world. So we'll be landing there shortly. Before we get started, though, we're going to do a little bit of a recap, a little bit of a journal entry that we can sort of use as a way of sort of creating our sort of the focus of our playthrough and set the scene for what happened last time. So yeah, let's jump into this, and we will hopefully only take a couple of minutes, and then we'll get into the gameplay. So let me just quickly pause the music and bring up my my script. Where are we? There we are. Excellent. Let's put up a planet. There we go. Journal entry of Nathaniel Johansson, DD 22-5-691. I still don't know what happened. Not really. Like, I saw it happen from the escape capsule's feed recording. The tear, the entity, the incursion, the destruction. I saw it all. I saw the FSS Duplicity Vice, my ship, my home, destroyed before my eyes, the captain and the crew, my friends lost to something unexplainable. But I don't really understand what I saw, truly know what it meant. My mind keeps trying to wrap itself around what I saw, what I witnessed, but I can't seem to hold the idea in my mind for long, as if I'm trying to hold water in my hands. That's a pretty fitting metaphor. I find myself crash-landed on a watery planet called Ozovin, out in the far reaches of the southwest quadrant. I haven't heard much about Ozovin, though the people here I've met so far seem to be friendly. Found myself on a floating island, something called Haven's Keep, which seems nice. The island is little more than a gigantic floating disc of metal, acting as a home, a ship, a factory, and a town for well over 1,000 people. Apparently there's no land at all on this entire planet. So what do a people do when the planet does not provide? Human hands make it. Jedediah is the one who I first met when I was brought on board. He was a wiry, lithe man with a shock of red hair, angular features, and a freckled face. He was welcoming, everyone was, and they seemed happy to have me on board, pending that I was pleased to work and hand over my capsule for salvage. I didn't really have much choice. Novak was one of the chief mechanics. He was a harder man to crack, but he seemed happy with my work, and I even added some coalition credits to my empty feeling disc. There was only really one more day until we reached the capital of Posidor. Well, they call it a capital. Apparently it has less than 50,000 people. Half a dozen asteroids in a Fool's Edge have more than that, and they aren't even planets. But I guess they are rocky and solid. Living on the water is definitely a different challenge altogether. And apparently, it's not even an island, but a series of platforms that are tiered up called atolls. When I get there, I will be back on my own again, and I have to figure out what to do next. I've got no ship, no job, a couple of 100 credits to my name, and the escape capsule recording. I have a feeling I might be here for a while, until I can figure off how to get off planet and get home. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the first journal entry recapping what happened last time. We are going to do one more day on the planet on the floaton of Haven's Keep before we make our way over to arrive at the capital of Posidor and then continue our journey. For those of you who are joining here in stream or watch this later on YouTube, you can see we have here our character. This is a custom roll table rules light TTRPG system that I've developed that's based around the main world building creative world building project here on the channel, being that of the Dark Diaspora. You have here a character who has a set of inventory items. His name is Nathaniel Johansson. He's currently level 1, has HP of 10. We'll maybe do some leveling up at the end of this particular session. We'll have a bit of a play around with that. Also, we'll be having a look at the, he has a class where he is a mechanic by trade, which is very cool. What else? He has a series of attributes here, which you can see. You've got attributes like his... where is it? Attributes are power, fortitude, evasion, intellect, awareness, and charm. So a very classic sort of 6 attribute setup with a standard array, which is very cool. We also have some ship roles. He's not on the ship at the moment, but if he was, there's some things that he can do. Pilot, tactical engineering. He has a background of worker, so if he is having an interface with another worker, he gets advantage on some of the charm checks. And yeah, that's our character. We have our primary scene. This is what happened last time, where we're keeping sort of our main current quest is survive in the ocean, which we have done, which we will change here shortly. We've also had the different activities that took place last time. We survived off some attacks by small squids. We had the rainstorm, which was we managed to collect some water. We got brought on board, worked with Novak, and we managed right at the end of the last episode, last session, to comprehend the recording of from the escape capsule that showed the tear in space-time and the gruesome tentacles coming through that tear to destroy the ship that was my home. So, what else have we got here? We have our current setting. This is the world or planet of Ozovin. It's a water world, and we are currently on the floaton of Haven's Keep. It's a fishing and processing floaton, and we're heading to the capital of the world called Posidor. We have our dice rolling section, so we can roll our dice on our tables, and we also have potentially our combat section here, which, as you can see, factors into how we roll different combat. As I said, rules light, roll table focused sort of activities here as well. So that's going to be very cool to get through. So we've done our story for today, our setup. Let's quickly go to our primary here, and we're just going to let's actually put the audio back on. There we go. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just had a quick interruption. So we're just going to quickly delete all of these activities that took place last time. So we're ready for a journal of what's happening next time. Our quests, we want to understand here's some things we need to do. I think we need to secure rations. Our current quest, I think, though, we're going to make as being understanding. I think we need to find somebody who can understand the recording. I think that's going to be one of our primary quests to start with, and I think that's going to be a good idea to sort of focus on that. But before that, we're going to do one more day. The end of last time, we did 3 days of rolls of mechanics rolls on the planet, the island, floating island. We made some coin from those, so we're going to do that again, get a little bit more credits in the door, and see how we go. So bring the audio down just a little bit. So let's go to our dice rolling section. Let's go to our dice roller browser. Let's go to properties. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll a d10, hit it OK. Let's Let's turn that off and on. Let's see how we go. And that's cocked. And we have a 5. A 5, so we're rolling an intellect roll. And so we get a 5 plus our intellect, which is 0. So we get a 5. So it's a very basic roll. So that our intellect roll is the what we're using for our to see if we're sort of picking up things. Actually, it's not an intellect roll. My apologies. Mechanic fortitude is the main element for mechanics. So we had a fortitude roll, so it's a 7. So not too bad. We managed to gain ourselves another 14 credits, which we will quickly add to this. So it's going to be 58. Very nice. And then I also want to roll a charm roll, but I'm going to be we're working with Novak for this day, for this last day. We're going to work with Novak as a worker, and so we get advantage. So let's go back to dice rolls. Let's turn that off. Let's go back to properties, and we're going to do a 2d10. I'm going to take the highest, but then we're going to deduct 2 from it. So let's see which way we go for our time with Novak. 6, so it's a 4, so below average. So we don't really hit it off at all with Novak. We've had an okay sort of session previously, but he's busy. He's getting stuff ready for the floaton to arrive at the capital city of the planet and to offload all of the goods. They've offloaded all their fish, all of their sort of wild harvested seaweed, other items that they've collected during their extensive journey. So we'll be, that'll be the focus, his focus. So not really doing much there, but we did pick up a little bit more coin, and I think that's pretty much where we will leave this last day. And I'm going to say that we're going to arrive at Posidor at the second half of this day. And so let's go here. Back to our thing. So we've upgraded that. Now, we have no rations. So I'm thinking what we're going to do is go and see if we can, there's some shops and everything on the planet. On Posidor. So I reckon rather than, on the floaton, or rather than wait to go to Posidor, I think our character is going to secure some rations, at least for a few days, before we go over to the island. So we're going to make our way from the workshops where we were acting as a mechanic on board the floaton. We're going to make our way to the sort of the central retail district. All the buildings here are sort of very sort of stacked boxes, sort of some going quite high, 6-8 stories high on this sort of metal island that's about a mile wide, and is being loaded up with all of these. So I say mile wide, about 1,000 feet wide, and so all these boxes are sort of stacked on top of one another because space is a premium, and so all these boxes in the central area. You can see there's several boxes that are quite tall. All of them have windmills on top for generating energy, as well as other items, and so you go into this area. And you see the into a central area down this main street. There's like a bit of a square, sort of like a public square that's quite open. There isn't really many vehicles. A lot of like small carts, maybe some more small little sort of skimmer bikes, some some anti-gravity skimmer bikes pulling some wheeled or even some AG sort of trailers along with them. But there's not really many vehicles. It's a very pedestrianised area since it's such a small and squat urban form sitting atop this particular area. So we're going to now, I just want to quickly go here. Is there a different, I'm going to go with, yeah, that's good. So, we'll go to the market stores. There's a market, there's a little sort of general store shop there. Let's make a note of this. It's going to be, we're going to call it Buy and Keeps because it's Haven Keep. So we're going to be walking into a little shop called Buy and Keeps, and while we're there, we're going to want to basically secure ourselves a series of just rations. So we're not wanting to sort of spend, have some food on us in case, we don't want to necessarily be caught spending a huge amount, but like of money at the capital. And we're definitely wanting to focus as much as possible on the, on preserving our coin because we don't have a lot. So let's have a go to dice rolls. Let's go to properties. We're going to roll a d6, 1d6, And let's see how much, actually, well, let's roll a d10, just a single d10, and let's see how much, no, we're going to roll a d20 and see how much rations are going to cost us. Okay, let's say day's rations is 10 credits. That seems entirely appropriate. So, let's get the 10 credits. Let's go back to our character. I reckon we're going to pick up 4 days worth of rations. So let's go and in here. So we enter this shop. It's a general store, lots of food, but it's more like less of a supermarket and more like a general store, like a country town general store. So there's lots of like, you know, different tools and like materials and other types of items that are available for, you know, general, you know, household appliances, small little, you know, units. I'll see there's probably like some armor and maybe even some bespoke weapons, but definitely don't have enough to meet the requirements for those weapons. But yeah, you can see there's a sort of a counter at the very front of at the very back of the store, which has a series of other sort of like, you know, particular like parts for different equipment and things like that stored behind there as well. And behind that, there's obviously quite a large storeroom for the stock of the store. And I go up to the, you know, the character goes up to the counter and he goes, "Oh, hey, I need to get some survival rations, if possible." And behind the counter is an older woman, quite sort of rotund and plump sort of woman. She has grey hair, wearing very thick sort of bespectacles, which and sort of has them on her nose, is looking through a series of sort of electronic tablets as she's sort of looking in the area, looking down. She looks up at me. She says, "Oh, I haven't seen you before. Where are you from?" And I go, "Oh, yeah, I actually got picked up from the ocean. I crashed here from my ship that was destroyed. Yeah, and the escape pod brought me here." "Oh, really? Oh, that's a bit different. Don't really get strays very much and pick up people from overboard. You're pretty lucky though. Ocean's a big place. Lucky that you got found." I said, "Oh yeah, I know. It's pretty amazing, really. The flare and the I think helped Jedediah and the others sort of realize that there was someone in the ocean that needed help. So yeah, that helped a little bit. But yeah, I ended up going through all my rations. So I just wanted to see if there was you had any survival rations on store. So." And she goes, "Oh yeah, absolutely I do. Yeah, I think I've got some of the freeze-dried ration packets here. Let me go check for you." And she goes out and she comes back with about half a dozen from the storage. And rations not really something that are regularly purchased, ration packs, because obviously most people can just go to the chow hall or go and just buy food. But you know, being a somebody who's off planet, resupplying this for the backpack is definitely a focus. So what I'm going to do is, standard price is going to be 10. So I'm going to buy 4, but I'm going to do a charm check. She, I'm going to say, is not of a worker background. I'm going to say that she's actually a different background. So she's going to be a straight charm check. And basically, if I get a DC of sort of like 7 or above, I'm going to get a discount. If I don't get that or below, which basically means I need to roll a 9 or a 10 on a D10 check in order to, on my charm check, since I have a -2 to charm. So the idea is that it's not that I'm not charming, it's just that I'm in my job absolutely covered in filth and grime all the time, and that it doesn't make me the most attractive person to be talking to. So let's quickly go to charm check. What would I say her background is? I would say that her background is likely to be, I'll say that she's a trader background. Yeah, she'd definitely be a trader background as a merchant. So, yeah, perfect. Okay, let's roll that D10. So let's go back here, properties, D10, and hit OK. And it's a almost a 9. So no discount. So that's a shame. Anyway, what we should also do is make sure to turn this off between. We should just quickly document these dice rolls. First one was a fortitude. Oh no, fortitude. 1d10, and that was equal to a 5. I was actually a 3, and I rolled a 5, didn't I? Yeah, that's right. The next one I rolled was a 1D, was a ration price 1D20 equals 10, and then it was going to be discount. Just going to change this music again. I want to go with something that's a little bit more... Yep, that's good. We'll keep it on that. That's good. Discount is equal to 1d10 charm. And so that was a 5. Yep, so that's all good. So just document all of those. Very good. Okay, so we go back to our character. So I'll say, oh, I'll just grab 4 of the ration packs then, if that's okay. She goes, yeah, not a problem. I don't really keep them very much, so happy for you to head off and to take these with you. So all good. Anything else you need? I did use my survival flare in the survival kit when I was thinking. So I might see. Oh, first of all, we need to deduct 40 credits off our coin for that. So let's reduce that back down to 118. But we've got 4 days rations now, which is nice. I'm going to say I've eaten this day at the chow hall, so I don't need to worry about that. Food on the island is free, as being provided by the communal kitchen. So yeah, I don't need to worry about that. So I have used my flare. Let's see. A flare is going to be a non-standard item in my roll table here. Let's just quickly check to see what I reckon. Yeah, so I reckon that is going to be, a flare is going to be like 50 credits, and I don't know if I can justify that. Yeah, I don't know if I can justify that. No, okay, we'll leave that. As I will leave that one at the moment. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I think we'll leave that. I think we've got a survival kit. We've got our armor inventory. We also have to include in there, however, our emergency pod recording. Actually, you know what we'll do? We'll just take over the flare one and go emergency capsule. Well, actually, we'll just call it capsule recording. Capsule recording. Okay, very good. Okay, and done. We still have a small med kit. We have our body armor. We have our 2 vibro blades. We have our rations for 4 days, and we have our backpack. Excellent. Okay, so I reckon we're going to be making our way now. After sort of, I'd say about 2 o'clock, we arrive on the we arrive at Posador, and we'll be able to see this as we're approaching for several hours. Because effectively, what I'm envisaging is that we're obviously on a floating island, and that's one of the 2 different forms of settlement on the water world of Ozovin. The other is a actually, you know what would be great is if there was I'm still struggling a little bit with music to have something that is no, so that's not right. That's definitely not right. Let's try. Let's go with like a more of a D&D type of theme. Ooh. What's that? Perfect. Yep, perfect. Love it. Okay, so let's go through now and add, so we arrive, and so basically what it looks like as we're traveling in is that instead of being this floating island, it's a series of sort of pylon supported like platforms, circular platforms that sort of like cascade up and sort of like step up on one another. If you know the, I'm just trying to think of the example, if you see those sort of, hexagonal looking sort of blocks on the stones that are in Ireland, I think it's the where the giant causeway is, that's what I'm envisaging this sort of looks like, is that these are sort of stepping up as we go through here, as we go through to the center. It's sort of slightly different heights, and there's different ramps and sort of staircases that go from one to another. These platforms are also huge. They're probably like a couple of miles, like probably a mile across each, so they're bigger than the individual than the flotons themselves. There's a series that are down the bottom, probably at 3 different points in this sort of roughly sort of triangular shape. 3 different points where there's some that are much closer to the bottom, to the water level, probably 60 feet above the water, maybe a little bit further, and that's where the flotons can come in to sort of dock. And those areas, there's lots of cranes and sort of act as sort of 3 docking points around this. And then it goes up into the second tier, which sort of wraps around these on 3 sides, these sort of platforms on 3 sides. That's where sort of your warehouses, some of your processing logistics sort of areas are. Then above that, you're probably going to have the sort of the first tier of sort of commercial and a bit of residential. This is going to be like some of your worker accommodation, some of your visitor accommodation that's a little bit lower order. So this is going to be on your 3rd tier around. And then you're going to have the sort of 4th tier, which is sort of a tier that goes all the way around the entire central part of the area. This goes the first tier that goes all the way around, and this is going to be where you're starting to get into more of your sort of commercial, retail, sort of more traditional sort of urban environment, more sort of urban populations of the area. Some institutions will be in there as well, some specific areas. And then obviously as the further you go in, you then have another tier that goes around that on the inside of that, which is going to be more of a have some sort of higher end residential. You're gonna have a few other different types of sort of some more institutions, some more sort of commercial things, and then you'll have sort of the central tier right in the center. That's where you're going to have more of your government sort of tiers. So you end up with this sort of triangular shaped, but with sort of like these sort of almost hexagonal sort of block that lock into one another and sort of cascade up from the lowest point to the highest point, from the docks on the outside to this. And then you can see how this has expanded over time as new areas that need to be added in. There's sort of, it's not just one ring of these sort of mile wide platforms, that in fact there's sort of like there might be 2 or 3 in a level before it goes up to the next level, and it sort of like expands out over time, and new hubs sort of get created in this sort of multi-hub. Maybe instead of having the government in the center, maybe we have them at different hubs on the 2nd or 3rd level, and in the center we have something that's more like a garden or like a central park type of setup, and it has like actual natural trees and very sort of, feeling like it's part of like a very more terrestrial type environment. That would be really cool. I think that would be a great idea. And the other thing that I think we need to have is a couple of other platforms that are further away. Some that might have sort of domed sort of, agricultural sort of domed sort of platforms that are sort of on multiple spots. And then also I think another thing that would be really interesting to have would be, we need to have sort of the main spacecraft launching. And I think as we're sort of coming into the island, into the capital, we're sort of standing at the bow of the ship. I have Jedediah comes up next to us and goes, "Always a pretty impressive sight, isn't it, hey?" And he goes, "Oh," and Nathaniel responds, "Oh yeah, like really impressive. I've never really had this sort of view before of a spaceport in a capital like this. Like, I'm from Falls Edge, so it's all asteroids and tiny micro moons and dwarf planets. So yeah, nothing like this. Yeah, there's something about the human scale of it that just feels very both tangible as well as huge. And it's always great to come home. But I'm originally from Posidor, but I have to say, the sea's my home. That's why I'm out here on the island like I am." "Oh well, is there anything I should know about in terms of what should be happening on the island, or where I should be like anything I need to look out for?" So I'm going to have Nathaniel roll here a charm check. which he's not great at, but it's with Jedediah, who's a worker background. So we're going to roll a advantage, and then see if he can give us any information. That is a 1 and a 5, so that is no. So let's go back. Oh, not really. I guess, head through the docks, and, if you go up to the second level, there's a bunch of, small little, pretty cheap hole-in-the-wall type of food places and those types of areas, but, you also might want to head to there's some free flag, taverns as well, if you're looking for a ship berth, and there's also, if I'm not sure if you're coalition too, the coalition have some of their, guild halls here, so, there's also those, so have a look around. Depends on what you're wanting to do, mate, but it's a great place. It's pretty safe. Just don't get caught in any sort of alleyways or any sort of places away from where there's good surveillance, because you can definitely get jumped if you're not careful. But no, I appreciate that. Where would I potentially go if I want somebody to have a look at this recording I got from my emergency capsule? Where do you think I should head for that? Oh, that's a really good question, mate. I don't really have much of an idea. I reckon maybe you'll need to have a look at speaking to somebody in the government, or maybe one of the universities, maybe? Oh, I don't really know, mate. Not really my area of expertise, sorry. Oh, no, that's okay. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'll definitely have a look and see if there's someone who might be able to help me figure this out. But, I guess I'll just get onto dry land, I guess, if you can call it that. And Jedediah sort of laughs, Oh, it's the closest we got to dry land here, that's for sure. The atolls like this, not, most of them are smaller than this one, but than the capital, but, only maybe have 2 or 3 of that sort of hexagonal sort of plates sort of locked together. But it's definitely the closest thing we got to dry land on the planet. So anyway, he sort of pats Nathaniel on the back and says, well, mate, thanks so much for your hard work. Really, really appreciate it. A couple of us wanted to just give you something that maybe to help you out since you're having a bit of a struggles. And I'm going to say that they're going to give us, the character, a little bit of a present. We're going to roll a D100. Nope, can't roll a D100. Oh, can we? Oh, yes, we can. And we got 90, so I'm going to say they go, we pulled together 90 credits. So that's very nice. So we're going to add that in there. So let's go to properties. Let's quickly go and add that up there. So it's going to be 318 credits. Perfect. And that is it. And I reckon that is where we're going to finish off our interactions here on Haven's Keep, as we watch the pilots, the master pilots for the Floton, bring the sort of, the 1,000-foot wide structure into floating up into one of the docks, where there's some large clamps at the very water level of the base of a series of pylons that rise 60 feet above, and you can see these are all platforms, and there's obviously pylons that are holding them up, and so, but it's not flat underneath. You can see that the underneath area has also been built into to a certain degree, and things have been stacked underneath, mostly like warehouses, storage, utilities. There's underneath a central platform where sort of the urban area is. There's a huge sort of like power plant, industrial, so it's mostly like utility storage below the platform level, and then above on the capital is where all the sort of living, commercial, those sort of areas are. So I'm down at water level. I can sort of see it in through under, and it's very industrial pipes and all manner of things sort of feeding into stuff. So that's sort of where we're sitting, and what it's looking like in terms of our, I guess, approach for this. So I'm just going to, I think we're going to make our way over to Posidor. So we're going to change this, and we're going to go and change the actual location. Is that once we dock, we make our way onto currently at the capital city of Posidor. Okay. Very good. That's where we're going to be saying we are. So we exit from Haven's Keep and we arrive at Possador. We make our way through all of the dock areas. There is sort of, I would say, there is some form of maybe quarantine or sort of customs area that we're sort of making our way through. Everything's retina scanned, so as we go through, sort of scans the retina and realize, oh no, I don't have a retina scan sort of identified here. So I'm going to have it that as I walk through, I get pulled aside through the customs. I get pulled aside and am asked to be to basically taken to a room to be questioned as to what's happened. So I get taken aside, I get put into this room. It's a sort of a square room, no windows. There's sort of a glass observation area, sort of a small little, very inobscure, little camera in the corner, sort of watching me, and a gentleman walks in holding sort of a holopad. He's wearing a sort of very flight suit type of look. I sort of have the dress of a lot of these areas being very, not utilitarian, utilitarian because they're on the water, very sort of sailor aquatic, but it's sort of a jumpsuit, or sort of like a flight suit, but this one has sort of like a collar it has no collar around, but has that around the neck, but has that sort of flap, but instead of just being open, it's sort of pinned down in a slightly different color, sort of like a color that's symbolizing a person's rank, maybe. And so this gentleman walks through, dark-skinned, shaved head. He's looking very, standing up very straight, looking very professional. Comes in, sits down with his holopad opposite me, and says, "Oh, hello, my name is Captain, and let's get a name from my role list." My name is Captain Samuels. Thanks for sorry, apologies for the wait. I just wanted to let you know we didn't capture a retina scan when you came through. You weren't on our on the global records. So unfortunately, when that happens, you get flagged. And I just wanted to ask you a few questions if I could. So just wanted to get an understanding of how are you on planet without a retina scan being registered. I go, so I reckon, look, our character isn't super charming. So I reckon he really just goes with the truth, and so he's gonna say, well, I was actually on the FSS Duplicity Vice. That was my ship. There's a free flagger registered ship out of Fool's Edge, and we got we ended up getting destroyed. We didn't quite know what was happening. I'm going to have it that I've hidden the capsule recording on my person rather than in my backpack. So let's quickly roll let's go to dice rolls. Actually, no, let's quickly check character. Reckon we're going to be doing an evasion roll here. And I reckon we're going to roll a d10. So we go here, properties, we'll roll a d10. Okay. Let's see how we go. A 7. Okay, that's a 7. So I'd say that we've managed to. I'm going to roll the other character, which is 0 as well, just on an awareness roll, and just to see where they come out as well, to see if they are aware enough of. Ooh, rolled an 8. Okay, so I'm going to say that he gets out a bunch of the person. Let's also roll an intellect roll as well, which I'll also make as a 0. Okay, so 6. So I'm going to say that he says, empty your pockets, and so reluctantly takes out the capsule recording, which is a little crystal, along with the credit disc and things like that. And the guy sort of looks through it, doesn't really sort of understand, sort of looks at it and says, what's this? Let's see if we're going to lie. What's this crystal for? What's this? They said, let's get this crystal, have a bit of a look and see if here's a mechanic. So I'm going to say, for the purposes of this, that he has that he has, that we've encrypted it after we sort of had our discovery. Before we used our last day, some time to encrypt it. Let's do a fortitude tech as a mechanic to see if that helps. So it's going to be a +2. That's a 1, that's a 3. He's going to get caught. He's going to get caught. So the guy says, oh. So I'm going to say that, it's just a storage just over some files that I had that I managed to get from when my ship exploded. So I'm going to check to see if... So first of all, the guy's going to take the crystal and has a little sort of reader and puts it in there. And as it does that, he sort of sees this sort of imagery that comes up there. Now, one of the things when you have in this world, when there is an abyssal dimensional incursion, is that it's very difficult for the human mind to comprehend what it's seeing. And so I'm going to have it see if this guy has the intellect strength. I'm going to, again, make it a 0 for Samuels to see if he has the intellect strength. No, he doesn't, to really comprehend what he's seeing. So he sort of like watches it, but his mind can't really wrap around what he's seeing. He's struggling to comprehend it. But he does. I'm gonna say that he. So he manages to decrypt the file, views it, and doesn't really understand what it's seeing. Notes that there's nothing else on the file, and so he puts it back over on the table. Sees the credit discs. Notice that you've got a couple hundred coalition credits. Notice that all of your identification that's linked to your credit disc and to you is the same. It looks the same. So there's no issues there. What else? I'm going to say that. With the low sort of charisma, that he is, however, very suspicious of you. The fact that you haven't risen up. He has transferred over your retina scan and other details onto that. Let's see if he can find, onto their records, let's see if he can find the Duplicity Vice on the Ozovin as a free flagger registered ship. He might end up reaching out to the free flaggers, to the free flagger, one of the free flagger taverns, and to their database to see if he can find a record of the FSS Duplicity Vice on their system. Let's do another D10. Let's do an intelligence roll, which is again a 0 for the character. Is that a 7? That's a 7. I'm going to say he does find a record of the Duplicity Vice, but does not have a current transponder signal or a current location, just the record that the ship did exist. So I'm going to say that there's enough information here to say that he's comfortable enough that you are who you say you are, you were on the ship who you say you were, something's happened and you're on planet, but he doesn't really understand what's going on, and the fact that you arrived without having gone, you're effectively a foreign alien on planet without a registered retina scan or biometric scan on file, which is basically almost unheard of. So I think that would be he would be very suspicious of you in that circumstances. So I think, though, there's enough to get through here to suggest that he would be comfortable to let you go, but may in fact decide to, just says, look, if you can just, don't go anywhere, don't go out of the capital until we've had a chance to do more investigating of your circumstances. Is there anybody that we need to potentially, contact to let you know is here? And I'll say, well, if you can, my father has a shop at Falls Edge, and so if there's a way to get some communication to him to let him know that I'm safe and that I'm here, I'm not expecting him to, I'll try and work and find my way off planet myself, but if he can just let me know that I'm here, that would be really helpful. So the guy goes, yes, I'm sure we could investigate that as an option. Don't really have a lot of missives that get sent from here to Falls Edge very regularly. We can investigate whether there's a free flagger that is making the journey to Falls Edge in the near future that we might be able to account for. But I suspect you might need to actually do that yourself, because it could be several months. So maybe check out one of the free flagger dens, and to see if they might be able to help you. You might be able to sort of pay to get a message sent to them and to your father to let him know that you're safe. But I'd suggest we'll make a note of it, but I suggest you go and check out one of the free flagger taverns for that. So let's call them dens, the free flagger den. Actually, no, tavern. Let's call them a free flagger tavern. So, okay, so we want to go back to primary, and we want to go here to our properties. Now, we need to understand, we have done the work on that. We haven't spoke to anybody about the recording yet. We haven't got a shipper. We have secured some rations, though. So we need to go to a free flagger tavern. We need to go free flagger tavern as one of our quest items, so I think that's good. Let's go to event journal here, and let's quickly update this. We're going to say that we arrived actually did a day's work, arrived at Posidor, okay, questioned by customs. Okay, so I think that gives us a bit of an indication that our first task is probably going to be to go to a free flagger tavern. Now, I am a registered free flagger. The ship, the free flagger is basically an independent merchant. There are sort of taverns that exist that mostly have a social sense. The free flaggers don't have a central sort of allocation process for jobs to the same degree as the coalition merchants do, which is more of a sort of a centralized sort of, you work for the coalition and they give you sort of jobs for your ship across the galaxy. Free flaggers, it's more of a bespoke by contract sort of basis. So yeah, that's sort of the idea behind that. So I reckon we're going to try and go to a free flagger tavern to see if we can, find out what we need to do going forward and what sort of opportunities we have available to us. So the other thing we can potentially, find out what work we could potentially be doing on island, in the capital, as well as potentially finding out who we can speak to about the recording. I'm going to say that, so we get released and we make our way through customs. On the other side, we're given a sort of a temporary visa as an emergency arrival, which means we can do some odd job works, but we're not formally a citizen of the Fringe World Alliance, which is the federation of which Ozovin is part. And we make our way in through there to you can see that there is the sort of main public transport on this island. I think there's a series of what look like like little sort of 3 and 4 sort of car trams, except they have no wheels. They use sort of anti-gravity, sort of buffering, so they're sort of hovering above that. It's almost like a maglev, but there is sort of like a dedicated track sort of station. So it goes from these sort of areas down the bottom here where there's lots of warehouses and processing centers and cranes already starting to lift up stuff off the newly docked island, of which there are like 6 or 7 of these floating islands already docked in this area on this one dock, and the other areas, some of them are much bigger than others as well, so they're sort of docked in there. You can see all this product being loaded off as a result of, with all the cranes and the like. So we go there from there to take the little cut. So I'm going to charge me a credit. I'm going to make it not very much. Let's just roll a d4. No, let's roll a d6, and let's see how much we're going to charge for credits for the Posidor trams. 2 credits. Perfect. We're only going, we'll say make it 2 credits 2 credits an area. So we'll make it so that it's, let's go here. Let's get Samuel's. Rations are going to be 10 credits each. 10 credits per day. And then we're going to have the Posidor, we're going to call it the Posidor Flyer. They're going to be 2 credits per level. And so we're just going to go up to the next level. So in terms of the levels, so there's level 1 is going to be the docks, warehouses, and dirty industry. And this includes some like production, like dirty industry, like foundries and things like that. Then you're going to have level 2, which is going to be the more of the slums and sort of worker housing, guilds, and taverns. Very much the sort of worker area. We're going to have some more factories and more warehouses in this area. Warehouses, that looks good. So those are wrapped around each of the three dock areas. Then you've got level 3, level 4, and each of these are going to be like maybe 60 feet above one another. So if the first one's 60 feet above the water, then the next one's 60 feet above that, which is level 2. So basically, by the time you get to the end, it's going to be like 360 feet above the water level is where the sort of the top level is. So then we said, like, then we're starting to get into the sort of commercial zones, retail, standard residential, some institutions. Level 4 is going to be in the government, high-end residential, more institutions. And then we're going to have level 5 is going to be again, so we'll have level 5 as be the government, and we'll have this be commercial zones, government, and then level 6 is going to be where the parklands are, Central Park. Excellent. Okay, so that's good. So we've plotted out what everything is in Possidor, and I think I might do a map of Possidor on my map making software that I can use and publish that on the channel too to support this, and maybe have that for the next game too. I think that would be very cool. Okay, so we make our way from level 1 to level 2, which includes where all the workers areas is, and it's still, look, it's a couple, but this is a very sort of industrial, dirty sort of areas. These have like really focused on, like, there's not really slums per se, but it's more, there's a lot of like really small sort of 1-bedroom type housing structures in these areas. I'm going to change this music. Just can't quite get the music right. What do I do? Yeah, let's go with that one. Why do this? Perfect. Love it. Okay, so we make our way to the second level, and there we sort of, what you will find is that, as I said, there's more vehicles on the islands. There's also ramps, so there is more roads, but there's a lot of small vehicles. We're talking about like small little cart type vehicles. It's most sort of some of those micro vans. It's very small. The area is very compact. And it has a building design, which is very sort of square, rectangular sort of boxes that are stacked on one another, sort of going up into the air. It has that very almost modular appearance to it in terms of how it sort of presents. And so that's going to be, this area is like, very similar to that, but to a lot of the other infrastructure, though, as further you go in, it becomes more purpose-built. Some of the buildings become grander, more intentionally structured, and sort of, as it's expanded outwards, it's sort of moved away from that sort of modular stacking sort of result into something that's a bit more substantive. So that's really good. That's turned out really well. And so that's sort of the way it's sort of structured. So we make our way through it's very pedestrian oriented. There's lots of like ground level, very mercantile. So a lot of ground level, like little shops and workshops and sort of street foods and that sort of feel to it. A lot of cabling sort of linked from building to building, like for different sort of audio and telecommunication feeds and things like that. Although there is obviously a full global net that is a satellite net, which you can access everywhere, which we'll be using, which we'll get access to, I think, shortly, to sort of have an understanding. The big thing with interesting, and I mentioned before with regards to sending a missive back to the my father in Falls Edge, is that there isn't FTL communication in this universe, so you don't have that. So that's something just to be aware of in terms of the communication. You have that inherent sort of restriction, but on planet it seems to be much more, it seems to be, you have a normal sort of telecommunications sort of network, which is good. So managed to get onto the second level, making our way through these areas. I'll ping the with my sort of little handheld sort of my handheld telecom device. I ping the network and I get a location of the nearest Free Flagger tavern, which I'm going to call free. So I'm just going to say we arrived from the east. Arrived from the southeast. So southeast level 2 Free Flagger tavern called the... what are we going to call this? Let me get my name of taverns here. I have to give it an aquatic or nautical name. We're going to call it the Full Sail. Perfect. And it is a tavern. We walk in and notice that it is principally a tavern. That is mostly what it is used for, and that it seems to be, though it does obviously primarily cater for free flaggers, who are the non-aligned sort of ship starship merchants and freighter captains and crew from across in the galaxy, the Dark Diaspora. They're called free flaggers, and so this tavern, the Full Sail, is designed to meet their requirements or cater for them specifically. So we enter this tavern. We are still in our mechanics flight suit. There's still the main clothes that we've been wearing. I'll say we did manage to give them a bit of a wash while we're on the floating island the last few days, and we walk into this tavern. There's a sort of a tinny electronic sort of sounding, almost like country music, but it's very tinny, coming from a series of speakers in and around the area. I walk in, it's darker than outside. Obviously now it's starting to be about mid-afternoon, 3-4 o'clock. Managed to get inside, and it's a pretty busy tavern. There's a bar that's on the left-hand side, stools along the bar, a lot of different types of alcohol on different shelves up there, along with different sort of pouring of kegs and things like that, and keg taps along the bar itself. Series of different sort of like food placements. You can see that there's a kitchen in the back on the left-hand side. Then there's a series of tables in the central area, and then a whole bunch of booths, which then go out into the back area. That is where there seems to be more of a sort of almost like a commercial sort of hub area, for almost like a co-working space for free flagger sort of captains and crews. And so we come in. We go up to the bar. There is, standing behind the bar is a very nautically themed, very much sort of overall sort of very worker sort of almost overall type of attire. Relatively clean, relatively has a towel sort of over the shoulder. Has been sort of polishing some crystal glasses, and manages to goes over and say, "Hey there, what can I get you?" You go, can I just grab, I'll just grab a, actually, I don't know, what's good on around these parts? Oh, new, are ya? Oh, well, welcome to the Full Sail. Look, I always recommend getting one of the kelp ales. There's a fantastic Possidor kelp ale that is absolutely my favorite. We got it on tap here, so if that's something you're interested in, that's what I'd recommend. So, sure, I'll have one of those. So, pause that. I'm going to say that let's do a dice roll with a D10, and let's see how much we're going to get charged for this. And 5 credits. Perfect. Beer is going to be worth 5 credits. So let's add that to the mix. Rations beer is 5 credits. Very good. So we are at the Sail Tavern. Perfect. And so he pours us a beer in sort of a glass, sort of tankard type of, with a handle and a glass tankard. And then we go, we end up, we take the beer and we sort of sit at the bar there. I'm going to roll to see if we... first of all, let's add in a few of these other rolls that we missed before. So before we had the discount for the items, we had the bunch of checks. So we had an intellect check. I'm just going to call them custom checks. And then we just did beer, price, 1d10 equals 5. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, so back to the character. So, we now have ourselves a beer. We're having a beer at the town. He says, anything I can help you with while you're in town? Are you new to Possador, or are you new to Ozovin as a whole? And he goes, both really. New to Ozovin, only been here for a few days. I was out on a floaton and just came into town. So first time in Possador, only been on Ozovin for about a week. So looking for, I guess, someone to stay, get a bit of work. I've got some things I wouldn't mind sort of figuring out while I'm here. But just looking for maybe getting a gig. So he goes, oh, yeah, of course, not a problem at all. Well, look, you're happy to stay here. We've got rooms available upstairs, and upstairs, so they're only not too expensive. It's just little hole-in-the-wall type stuff for little, for ship crews as they're coming in, free flag crews as they're coming in, so that we can do some meals here as well, so you can do food and a night stay for about 20 credits. And then that covers your dinner, your breakfast. You still have to take care of your own lunch, and you have to pay for all your own beer. That's about 20 credits a night. And then, if you head out the back, there is an e-board at the back where you can get an idea of any jobs that are available, any ships that are looking for crews. Might help you out there. There's also a bunch of opportunities to do some jobs in and around town. We've got a sort of, if you're looking for that, I'd recommend go and checking out one of the bulletin boards outside of the gig center, the gig economy center, which is just about, there's one here in town on this level, probably about 3 blocks away. So I'd go and check that out as well. And they've got like little odd jobs and things like that they get posted there. You can also check all this through the network as well. So if you just he uses an interface on his little tablet that's on a holo tablet that's on the bar. He sort of types in a few things and he sort of does a flick motion, and it flicks across and lands on your tablet. And on the Nathaniel's tablet, a little handheld sort of communicator device, and you can see that there's a few sort of links to different sites and things like that of where you can get this sort of information. The internet works a little bit differently here, and it's obviously without faster than light communication across the galaxy. It's very regionally based, and so therefore, and obviously the population on the world isn't super huge, and so very satellite communication based. So it's very much sort of like early days internet in its structure, of very much hubs of information that you go to and search in, rather than having this sort of the big search engines that you can basically find oodles and oodles of information on everything. So it's more almost like information database stuff. And so there's still also a lot of information that's kept relatively isolated and self-contained on different sort of, as I said, different jobs boards, gig economy boards, and other parts of other information around the place as well. So drink my beer. I got that information. I do want to have my character ask about the fact that I've got a recording of something that's happened when you're in space that you want to show somebody. And I don't know if this person is going to really have an idea if that is something that they can actually help with. So let's roll let's go here, and we're going to roll, I'm going to say that this person is also, that's for a charm check. Say for an intellect check, they're not really going to have a great amount of information. So I'm going to put a -1 on this. We're going to roll a d10 and see how much information this person has available to us. And they rolled a 4. I was about to say they're about to hit a 10. About to give us the information we wanted to, but no, they rolled a 4. So no, the guy goes, so Nathaniel asks, look, is this something that you might be able to help us with in terms of, this capsule? I want to see if I can find somebody who can potentially show it to us as somebody, understand what this means. It's sort of a recording I had from my ship that was lost. And the guy's going to go, oh, sorry, mate, I don't really know. It's not really something that I can really help you with, I don't think. Maybe have a look at the... Maybe have a look at the board. Have a look at the... maybe have a look at some of the... one of the institutions. Maybe one of the unis or something might be able to help you. And so, I will say that then from that information, I will roll it intellect check. Let me see, my character is... Intellect is a 0, so we're going to use that as our check to see if we can find some information on the network, the net, in order to... see that, and we get a 7-0. I'll say we're able to find we may not find a name, but we can find a details of a person, of a department of a university. So we're going to call this the university is going to be called the Posidor Technical Institute. Technical Astronomical Institute. Nomical Institute. And it's part of their, we'll call this their gravimetric anomalies team. So we're going to do that, and we're going to have that there. We don't have a person, though, that we can find. We can just get the details of the department itself off the network. So, that's where we have somewhere that we can potentially go to. So we're going to add that down as a quest. So if we go back to character, we go back to primary here, and we go to our... Propertor. So speak to someone at and we're going to call it PTAI. Very good. We need a new ship berth. We also need to find... we've visited the Free Flagger Tavern, which is awesome. So that's really good. What else? So we're at the Free Flagger Tavern now. Awesome. So that's great. So we're at the Free Flagger Tavern. So yeah, we need to have a look for new ship berth. But I think we also need to look at some odd jobs to maybe earn some money. And we do have somewhere that we can find to sleep. So I'm gonna book in. I'd say probably, let's say that we can. I'm going to try and negotiate down and see if we can do a charm check. This is -2 to see if we can get a discount for, say, 3 nights at one of their little hole-in-the-wall rooms upstairs at this tavern to see if that's something that we can get. So let's roll a charm check. We'll make it a DC... I was going to say make it a DC 6. So that's 8 - 2 is a 6. So that achieves. So I was going to say that would go, look, can I get 3... If I get 3 nights, can I get a discount? The guy goes, yeah, sure, mate. I'll let me do it for you for 55 instead of 60. I go, oh, that'd be great. And that includes some food and stuff like that as well. Yeah, breakfast and dinner, breakfast buffet, dinner from the set menu. We'll have somebody, you can eat it down here. Obviously, no drinks, and you're obviously going to get your lunch and everything on yourself. So anyway, all good. So let's go to our character. Let's remove now. We've got a few things we need to remove. Let's go here and go to properties. So we had 318. We had to remove 40 to go to oh no, we did. We had 318. Did I remove that 40? Not sure I did. Let's go to 278 to remove the 40 for the rations. Then we need to remove 2 for the credit flow. Oh, that's right. We got given coins as well, didn't we? I forgot about that. So the 318 It went down to 228, went up to 318. Okay, that's why we got given a gift from people as well. I forgot about that. So that's going to be 2 down, 2 for the ticket, and then we also had to pay for the drink, which was another 5. So it's down to 11, and now we'll pay out 55. So that's going to be what, 55, 56, 256 credits. Okay, excellent. Hit OK. Very good. 256 credits. Very nice. And okay, so now we have to go here and go to properties, update our here. Let's go here and go to visited free flagger tavern. Okay, so let's hit OK. So very good. Let's go and have a look now. So I'll finish my beer. And then and I've got my key for my room, and I'm going to go and take my stuff up to the room. So I go upstairs. There's a little staircase off the sort of side of the bar to the left that goes up onto the second, to another level. And there's a series of rooms, and they are little shoebox type rooms, little like your janitor closet type rooms. A little bit longer, single bed on the side, one cupboard, a little set of shelves on the walls, and then also a sort of a lockbox type area. So I take off my stuff. I've still got my my armor under my suit. I've still got my vibro blades sort of in sheaths on my hips beside me, underneath my shirt. So I'm still fully armed, but I take all my other items and I put in. Still have the gem on me. The crystal, the emergency capsule recording crystal on me as well. And so then I use that and I put all my stuff away, lock the door, head back downstairs, and I head to the job board, to the ship berths board. So let's have a look and see what we have that I can use from a roll table perspective. I'm going to use a D6. Anything below a 3 and below, there isn't a suitable berth on the board at the moment. If a 3 and above, 3 and a 4, potential, yes, I need to speak to somebody. Potential, yes, they need to potentially, that there is an opportunity, but it may be time delayed or may have some time around it, so I need to speak to somebody. So let's go back to our dice rolls. Let's turn that off. Let's go to properties, and let's make this a 1d6. And we're going to see where we land. So 4 and above is where if there's an opportunity, and there's a 1. So we go down to the board, and there are no berthing requests, no sort of berth requests or crew requests at the moment for a mechanic that have appeared on the board. So that's something we're going to have to do every day. We'll do a check in the mornings. We'll roll to see if there is a opportunity for a. Let's add that to the list. So we're going to call this a mechanic crew jobs board roll table. Yep. 1 to 3, none. 4 to 5, yes, potential. And 6, yes, definite. Now, the potential could be because of time delay or because I need to speak to somebody. So we'll have a look and see what that looks like. But yeah, that's where that lands. Okay, I think that's all good. So, that's a mechanic roll table. Now, I think, what is the time? There is a, let me see, I'm saying it's going to be about 5 o'clock now. So maybe I'll head out to see if I can go to the jobs board very quickly. Music has stopped. There we go. So, yeah, the jobs board. Let's go to the jobs board and see if we can find something there in terms of this is like the gig economy board rather than the crew board. So I leave the tavern. I then head down the block through some of the areas. I'm going to head through down the laneways through some of the very even though it's very it's very sort of haphazard in terms of its design, there are pretty well defined streets and pathways, and so I just go down 3 blocks and I find myself the main sort of gig economy board there, and we're gonna roll I've got a bit of a roll table here of what we can potentially be doing to look at jobs. So let's go here. So this is going to be gig jobs. So these are just roll table. Okay, so one. We're going to do. They've got. Let's see here. Now, there's obviously going to be hundreds of jobs here, but it's more about anything that is suitable. So I'm going to say we're going to roll a d10. If we roll a 1, there's no jobs. Nothing suitable here at the moment. If there is, if we roll a 2 to a 3, the jobs that are available are sort of like mundane, sort of just labor jobs. So cleaning, those types of things that we can do. Cleaning jobs, sanitation, stuff that's like manual labor that's not really suitable for what we need. If we roll a 4 or 5, we can get ourselves a temporary sort of mechanic job, which is aligned with our sort of area for a project. For a mechanic job. If we roll a 6 or a 7, we can get ourselves a sort of contract mechanic job. So that gives us sort of like a link to a project, a little bit better paid. If we roll an 8, 9 or a 10, so I'm gonna say for we've 0, no 1 is no jobs. 10, what would be the ultimate job would be to work on ship repair. Would be working over on the at the where the space docks are, would be a ship repair job. And then I think for 8 and 9 we're going to go for more almost adventuring type of I reckon 8, 9, and 10 need to be more like adventuring jobs just to fit in with this a little bit more. So that rather than rolling the roll table in terms of intellect, a fortitude check to see how good we're doing the jobs, and a charm check to see how good we're getting along with the people, then we can use this sort of as specific jobs. So I reckon 8 to 10 are going to be like more adventuring type jobs. So I've got some ideas for those. So let's roll first to see where we're going to land in terms of a job. So we need to, again, turn that off, go to properties, change that to a D10 on the roll table, on the gig job roll table, and see what we can find. So, okay, let's roll a D10, see what we end up with. A 4. Okay, so we're going to be doing a very basic sort of, a temporary mechanic job. So it's just a bit of a day job, day work. So it means tomorrow, let's put down that we'll basically have gotten ourselves a little day job to do a part day mechanics job, which will use a very similar function to, if that one is going to be like 5, then this one is going to be equivalent to effectively the 2 credits per D10 roll on the fortitude check skull. That one's going to be just D10. Anyway, that one is going to be D10 plus fortitude. Excellent. So just getting the pricing of these things here on the roll table. Then contract mechanic jobs is going to be 4. Yep, is much better. And then the 8 to 10, we don't have to worry about, is going to be more adventuring type jobs. Okay, very good. So that is where that is at. So we've managed to, I'll say we've picked up as just a temporary day mechanic job at a local crane repair area. Some of the people who are responsible for sort of doing the repairing of the cranes down at the docks. And so we'll just pick up some day work there just to generate a little bit of work for tomorrow. But apart from that, we are, I think, pretty much done for those tasks. We've gone to the gig job, we come back. I'll say on the way back, on the way back from walking along the town, let's see if we've got a awareness roll. Just want to see here how we're checking and being mindful of our appearance. We have virtually no idea of what's going on. I think our awareness is -1. Awareness is -1. So yeah, we are very much not aware of anything that's going around in our surroundings, and so we head back towards the full sail, and we get ready to for what is likely to be a pretty early night for us. It's been pretty busy for the day. We've arrived from Haven's Keep, the floating island of Haven's Keep, and we've arrived at the pylon reinforced platform city of Posidor on the ocean world of Ozovin. We've managed to get through customs despite the fact that we are a unregistered foreign arrival, having crash landed on the planet, and we've also managed to get ourselves through the customs over to the Full Sail Tavern. We've got ourselves a room for 3 nights. We've also got ourselves a little bit of a temporary mechanics job for tomorrow to make a little bit of coin, and then we'll be using some time, I think, tomorrow to also head to the university, to the Posidor Technical Astronomical Institute, to find out what on earth is going on with this particular recording as such. So let's head to bed. We're not going to look at the recording tonight because we've already tried that once before, but I do want to quickly, during the night, we're having a bit of a sleep, but we do, all of a sudden, I want to just quickly roll another awareness roll. It's relatively low DC here. We've got current settings. Dice rolls. Let's roll that as a D10. 4. I'm going to just quickly update this. Walking awareness 1d10. A 4, and then this one is also a 4, but this is enough on while sleeping. Very good, to just mark down those couple of rolls. So that is that, and that is... So as we're sleeping, Nathaniel stirs and rolls over. Has a weird sort of feeling come over him. And when he looks up, he notices that there is a figure in his room. Somebody who seems to be at the lockbox that's up on the shelf, that's sort of bolted to the shelf in that area, and it's sort of playing with the items, that playing with the sort of, the lock there to try and open it. And as being very aware that obviously there's a bunch of very valuable things for him in there, including the crystal, which he has put in there as the escape capture recording crystal, as well as the his credit disc and other things like that. He immediately jumps out of bed and goes, and we're going to do a combat round. We're going to do a combat round against this unknown assailant. He gets up, and we're going to manage to go through and do a combat round. So let's quickly roll a... we're going to roll... So first of all, he's a mechanic. So as a mechanic, he's delayed in terms of... Yeah, he's responding. So he comes in last in initiative unless he has... he can surprise the person. So we're going to do a... let's go to the rolls here, and we're going to do actually just a character. I think we're trying to do let's do a evasion roll and see if we can, an evasion roll against this character, and against this character. We also, in the combat, we need to add in details of this enemy. So let's go and add a text box. Yep. Enemy stats. Okay. Okay, and then that's going to be Okay, yep. And then we'll go here and we'll type in P. And this, let's go and see what his stats are going to be. For this particular person, is going to be a... Where on earth is the stats thing for the stats array? There we go. Excellent. So he's going to do a power is going to be 2. Hang on, oh, that's too small, isn't it? What was these? So select font. I think it's 36. Yeah, that looks better. It's still small, but okay. So power is going to be 2. Fortitude is going to be 1. Evasion is going to be 0. Intellect is going to be 0. Awareness is going to be -2. And charm is going to be -1. Okay, so let's do that, except we'll put it there like that. Okay, let's go here. We'll put all of those in here. That still looks too small. Properties, how small is that one there? Font size. Oh, that's Notomo Sans, and that's why. It's because it's a different font. Okay, let's do that one, and we'll go... Oh, no, it's correct. So it's just need to do 48. So 36. Perfect. Okay, excellent. Okay, very good. This guy is going to be also... So we're going to put that there, and then we're going to do... also in this, we'll go properties. Yep. HP. Armor. +2. Weapons. +2. Yep. Okay. And that's pretty much where we're going to leave that. I think that's enough. Yep. Let's actually go here and let's get rid of that space in between. Yep, perfect. Okay, enemy number 1. Cloaked figure, hood over its head as it's working on this thing. The door is closed, and so I'm going to let's roll a competing awareness. Yeah, so both, so this is a mercenary, so it's also got the same responding initiative order as mechanics, so we're going to have both of them rolling at a D, oh, actually, no, it wouldn't be no, I apologize, that's not going to be right, it's not going to be a mechanic, it's going to be a mentalist, so that's a 0, 0, evasion of 2, intellect of -2, awareness of 1, and a charm of -1. Okay. In which case we can bring down that a little bit. Okay, and we're going to hit, okay, very good. So there we go. We have a mentalist that we're going up against. So we're going to do as a mentalist, he's going to go first, but he is being surprised. So we're going to do a roll here to see if I can do an actual attack on the person, or if I'm just startling him to initiate combat. So to do that, if we're going to roll for the mentalist, we're going to roll an awareness, a competing awareness score, so it's a -1 for a mentalist, and my character's awareness is also is a 1 for mentalist and is a -1. So yeah, it has to be a pretty significant win here. So first of all is the mentalist. It gets a 6. No, it gets a 7. So basically, I have to roll an 8 or above on this die for the mechanic for it to get first go. So let's do that. Let's turn this off. Oh, that one, and there. Okay, click on that. Let's see how we go. And I did, I rolled a 10. So the mechanic, my character is going to get its first attack on the party. So the way that combat works in this, for those who weren't participating in the combat last time, is that in combat you take the score. It's basically weapon score plus, which is sorry, it's to attack, it's power plus weapons. D10 plus power plus weapons. Hang on, is it D10 or D6? My apologies. Hang on a second. I think it might be a D6. Okay, so yeah, so that's a D2 as the weapons and armor additions, but what is the... There we go. It's a D4. So it's a D4 plus weapons, damage, plus power, and then you roll against that. Defense, that's to attack. Defense is a D4 plus armor plus evasion. So we'll see how we go. So, going to attack first. First rolls, D4 plus... weapons damage is a +2 plus power. So it's going to be +3 on the D4. So we'll go back to the dice roll. Go here, properties, and we're going to change that to a D4. Okay, and so we're going to go in for an attack. And it's going to be a 1 plus 3 is 4. Okay, now the mentalist is going to evade that, which is a 1. So actually, he can't not evade. It's the lowest score because his evasion is a plus. His evasion is +2, so he's getting +4, and he can roll nothing lower than that. So basically, there's first attack. Does no damage, doesn't do any impact on the enemy. The enemy is caught startled, and so now they're going to turn around and they pull out a las pistol and they fire the las pistol. So let's see how we go. So they're going to be a D4 to attack +0 +2. So let's go back to the dice roll. 4 plus 2, so it's 6 damage. Let's roll defense. My character's defense is defense is where is it? 0 plus 2. Okay. Let's go and throw out the big, so +2. So 1 plus 2 is 3, so it takes that off that, so it takes 3 HP damage. So the thing turns around and shoots, so the HP drops to 7 out of 10. So that's not great at all. Okay, so next round. So he's still at 12 HP. I'm now down to 7 HP. You can see I moved it over here so that it did in the front ones because it automatically copies over to here, which is very cool. Okay, so next one. Let's go to next round of combat. Still tossing, shoots, hits me in the side on the side there, and manages to and get through a bit of my armor and does a decent amount of damage. Next roll. So next roll is for me is a D4 plus 3. Ooh, that's a 7. And so then he is going to be a D4 plus 4. And he rolls that, he takes no damage either. This guy is very much like evading my damage as he then starts to use some of his movement actions to open the door, and then also starts to try to escape. So I'm going to try and do to grapple this person and to stop them from escaping. As they're escaping, I say they're not going to attack me back. They're just going to try and flee and escape. So I'm going to do another attack roll on them as they do. And this time it is a 2 plus 3 is 5. And we're going to see... that rolls is a 4 plus 4 is 8. So again, go to grapple this person and they've escaped. They're escaping out the door. I quickly scan up to the lockbox and realize it is open, and the crystal that has the recording of that is gone. The credit disc is still there though. So the credit disc, I pull the credit disc out, put it in my pocket, and then I go running after this person who is stealing stuff. I end up like running after this person sort of is running, and I end up like jumping over, they end up sort of jumping over the balcony, then land down onto the floor of the area of the thing, and they do a bit of a roll. Let's see how they onto the main sort of tavern area. Let's see how we're going to do a roll. We're going to do a D6 plus their, what would it be? Their evasion? No, probably their fortitude. Yeah, No, it would be their evasion. So D6 plus 4 to see how they go. So let's go here. Let's turn that off. Let's go here. I'm going to roll a D6. Because we're now in a chase circumstances here. So D6 plus 2. So 4. It rolls a 6. Okay, so manages to land. And oh, sorry, not D6. It's a D10. My apologies. So we're looking for like a DC 6, which it should be able to get. Yeah, easy, DC 10. Jumps down, sort of hurdles over the balcony, lands down, I think, does a roll, pushes aside a series of the what's called tables as he does, and starts running out. And so my character is going to do the same. We're going to roll a D10, plus it's the evasion, which I think the evasion is a 0. My character's evasion is 0. So, yep, we're going to roll a D10. DC 6 again to make sure we land. Roll a D10. Not a problem. Not only do we land, but we manage to catch up slightly to this creature, to this person. And now we are in a foot chase. Person bursts out the door and we are following them immediately after. I'll say with the D10, we've definitely caught up a level. I'm just going to pause this here for a second. I've got somebody at my door and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. Just had a lot of, somebody at my front door. Let's jump back into it. So we're doing a chase now. So this is going to be competing evasion rolls as we go through. Now this character has a high evasion, so it's going to be a D10 evasion roll. We're going to do several rounds, and we're going to see how it pulls out. At the moment, my character is right on top of the other character, has managed to catch up and to keep up right with them. So we're going to see now the next roll. We're going to DC 10. They are going to roll a 4. 4 plus, was it 4 plus 2? So 6. Okay, so they've done a 6. Let's see now how my character rolls for this round of evasion. Is a 2 minus 0, so falls behind. So that person is now as 1 step ahead of me with the crystal. Let's go for the second round now. So we'll go back here and we'll go to the dice roll. We'll turn off and on again. Let's see how he gets this time. That's cocked. Ooh, a 3 plus 2, so it's a 5. Okay, let's see how we go. Another crit. That's 2 crits. I'm going to say, not only does it catch up to him, makes it a thing, I'm going to see now he can make an attack roll to see if he can sort of potentially tackle this person as he's traveling. So, I'm going to do that as a power. So, D4 plus 3. So, let's go here to property. Since we've critted again on the dice, we're going to do a D4 plus 3. That's a 1 plus, Jesus, just can't catch a break. I've rolled so low on all of the attacks, so that's a 4. The other guy's got a +2/+2 on his +2 armor and a +2 for evasion, so he's going to be getting a 4 anyway, so he's fine. This is the great thing about a mentalist, really hard to hit till you get upgraded weapons, and then so it can be very hard as a level 1 player to hit mentalists, since they are this sort of evasion skill type, so... what else? Okay. So, don't escape. We're going to go for another round of running. Let's go back to the D10. This will be the... So this is the character. The other character, it rolls a 10. Oh, let's see how it goes. That's a 12 in total. Let's see how our character does. Oh, 7. So it's a 7 to 10. So the guy pulls away again. Last round of chasing and seeing what happens. He rolls a 1. So that's a 3. So if he rolls the thing, we're going to be right up to one another at the end of this chase. So it has to roll Oh, he pulls away. The guy rolls a 1. Our character rolls a 1. So the crystal the crystal that contains the recording, the escape capture recording, the guy ends up just getting away at the end there. And as he does, and as our character is chasing and chasing and chasing, the guy stops and turns around, like just out of reach, and says, "This information isn't for you." And then he turns off and he is lost to the night. So we have lost the crystal. There you go. Let's quickly go here to the capture recording crystal. And we're going to say, put it in here. I'm just going to say after this and say lost. What I will say, let's have a look, however, to see, since we rolled a couple of crits and we did have that attack opportunity, I just want to roll a d10, and I want to see if we manage to, let's use our, let's go to our character. So our combat round is finished, since we couldn't do anything on him. Oh, I think I just accidentally deleted my combat. Yep, I did. There we go, back. I wanted to get rid of the enemy stats one. Let's just turn that off. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's go now, and I want to see if we manage to gain any intellect, any ideas of who this guy was. So let's go to our character. I think we're going to be using a intellect to investigate. So we're going to roll this with a 0 and just do a dice roll. We're going to see that's slightly cocked. Let's do another one. Okay, and ooh, a 9. I will say that yes, we absolutely do find some information. Find something. As we had wrestled with the guy, we managed to grab onto something that the guy had on his sort of underneath the cloak, on his like the lapel, I think, like almost like a pin. And we sort of pull that down, and as we do, what we do find is there is an image. And let me see if I can find what this image would look like, so I can post this for you guys as part of the narrative section. Let's go up to here. Yep. Perfect. Let's get download. Okay, let's go here, and I want to just go and drag this across to here. This shape is on the pin. Let's turn that off. Turn those off. Perfect. That is the image that is on this pin. It is a blue pin. It has these 4 little dots in the corner. It's like a square pin, and it has this symbol on it. Let's see if you do an intelligence check and know exactly what this is. D10 intelligence. 9 again. You are a negative. Intelligence is a 0, so yeah, you know what this is. This is a Tyson Sector Compact pin symbol, sigil. This is the symbol of the Tyson Sector Compact, which is literally as far away from this particular area as possible as where you are. You're diametrically opposite part of the Dark Diaspora. I don't know if I've got the map of this up on here. Don't think so. Let's get the Tyson Sector Compact map up on the board too. Let's go chair, download. We just want pages 1. And download. Let's load this up as well. And I'll give you an indication of where we are versus where we... there we go. And let's just bring it back like this. Actually, I think I've done this before, haven't I? Did I include this in the current setting? Location details? Yeah, I did. No, that's all them. Oh, no, that's not it. No, mustn't have. So we're going to include this in the current location details. So let's get rid of it there. Yes. And get rid of that. Yes. And we'll go down to current settings. And we're going to go here and we're going to do this one. We're going to input this. And we'll bring this down here a little bit to be just sitting in here. So, just to put it in context of where we're at, this is Ozovin here. These are the Tyson Sector Compact worlds. This is Old Sol, where Earth was. So we are basically on the direct opposite way. And to be honest, finding a compact agent, or finding whoever this person is that works for the Tyson Sector Compact, on this part of it is really unusual. Like, it's really, really unusual. So for that to be the case, we find it, then that is, yeah. So we are pretty comfortable with the fact that this is a Tyson Sector Compact person. Let's just put the water back on. Yeah, perfect. So this is a person with Tyson Sector Compact, but they have stolen the crystal, and we have are lost. And so we make our way back to from there. We make our way back to the tavern, having had our sleep interrupted by this theft, and we head to we head back, and that is where the rest of our day, our night is done. We took a little bit of damage, but we will heal that up at 50% healing overnight, so that's pretty straightforward. So we're pretty much as done as we can be, and you know what? I think we're going to leave that there. I think that's a perfect place to leave this particular episode today. Let's just quickly make sure we update our journal entry. We visited the Free Flagger Tavern. We also went and got ourselves a day mechanic job. I'm going to say that tomorrow is the weekend, so that won't start until a couple of days. Well, actually, no, I'll say there's a day job tomorrow. We found the PTAI details, had the crystal, had capsule recording stolen, and then we also we found thief was Tyson Sector Compact. Very good. So we have a place that we're staying at. We're staying at the here, so let's go and get rid of sleep. We don't have that. We've got ourselves a temporary mechanics job, and we need to still understand. So now our big one is recover the capsule, the recording. All right, I'm just going to pause it here for a second. I'll be right back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I think is where our session today finishes. So we managed to finish our last day of work on the floaton of Haven's Keep. We arrived at the capital of Posidor. I am going to try and work on a little bit of a map, of a city map, while I am in between streams, and I'm going to post that on my thing and have that ready for the next time we play. But yeah, we've got we arrived on Posidor. We were questioned by customs and haven't been weren't uncovered or discovered there. Well, they didn't. They still released us, but they told us not to leave the capital until they had investigated things. We've visited the Free Flagger Tavern. We've got ourselves a room at the Full Sail Tavern, which cost us a little bit of credits, but we have managed to get ourselves a little temporary day mechanics job to earn a little bit of additional coin. But at the night time when we were sleeping the first night, we were were robbed, and a mysterious figure managed to make his way into our room, unlocked the lockbox, and we managed to take and steal something, the capsule crystal recording, that emergency capsule crystal recording that included the images of the destruction of our ship, the FSS Duplicity Vice. We fought. We were shot at once. We, however, managed to keep up for a reasonable amount of time with that of the what seems to be a spy or an agent, confirming that they work for the Tyson Sector Compact, and they, however, managed to escape with the crystal, turning around to tell us that this was something that we shouldn't be in possession of, and so they escaped. So we now we've spent the day, we've spent the night recovering. We heal back our hit points, so let's just quickly adjust those in our character back up to 10. And I think before we finish, let's do a little bit of a level up, since I think that is absolutely a perfect time for us to take our character to level 2. So based on my my work that I have here, my TTRPG roll table rules that I have created for this this play, the leveling up process, we're going to add +2 to our where's leveling up? That's items, character combat, character task, ship roll, ship task, character leveling. So here's the way it basically works. Level 2 is not a milestone level. Basically, I have it go through to like level 10, level 15. So level 2, we just go up to level 2. So let's quickly press that. We get, as standard, an extra 2 HP. So we're going to hit that and go. We can go up to 12. So we're now 12 HP. We can also now increase to choose something else. So we can do additional 1 HP on top of that HP that we've just added. We can do a +1 to any of our attributes. We can do a +1 to our weapons damage, or we can do a +1 to our armor protection, or we can reduce DC checks related to special abilities by 1. Now that one's probably not as relevant at the moment because we don't get special abilities until we get to level 3. So at the meantime, I think we're going to, like, the big issue that we ran into this entire time was our charm was pretty low. There's definitely an opportunity there, I think, to improve our charm for that. But I also think that we ran into some challenges against the mechanic, against the mentalist class, because their armor and evasion just was too high for me to do any damage to them. So I'm thinking that maybe we increase our evasion. I don't know, there's some really good options here. We could do, first of all, I definitely think we do an attribute increase. I think that's absolutely the way to go. I think, though, what we need to do is, I think the focus needs to be on, that's a really good one. I'm not quite sure. Power gives us the ability to do extra attacks. We already, that for our attack, we use the power, our power modifier on top of that, so that we a +2, and the +2 for the weapon. So either a power or a weapon increase is the same, and an evasion and or armor increase is the same. So I reckon in both of those instances, we do the attribute rather than those ones. So that's fine. I think, though, for the fortitude is already pretty strong. Our intellect is not negative. We did lose some awareness rolls, but our charm is so low. I reckon we're going to add and remove an attribute. I think. Oh, hang on. It is a milestone. Level 2, we get an additional attribute increase. Yeah, levels. Was it level 2, 4, 6, and 8 all get an all get an additional attribute increase. Yeah. So there we go. So it is. So my apologies. I had it as it wasn't a milestone, but it is. There's certain milestones I have for my leveling up, and this is one of them. But it wasn't. Yeah, it's a bit. Anyway, all good. That seems to sort of that's out. So I can basically I have a if I take a leveling up option of an attribute, and I get an additional attribute increase, so I can increase my attributes by 2 at level 2. We get that again at level 4, we get that again at level 6, and again at level 8. So we can get an attribute increase in all those levels without it being part of our leveling up activity. I do think there is some benefits to having. Maybe we just do a nice clean increase where we go to here and we go to our awareness, we get rid of the negative and make that a 0, and then we go to here and we make this a -1. That is definitely a good opportunity to do that. However, the other opportunity is we keep that as -1, we definitely make that a -1, we increase our power to 2. Yeah, let's do that. So that's what we did. So we increased. Well, let's go back to our primary thing here. We also go and properties. We go to level 2 plus 2 HP, plus 1 awareness, plus 1 C, and plus 1 P as our double attribute increase for level 2, and that is done. And I think that's where we're going to leave today. So we've done our upgrade. So now we're at -1 charm, -1 awareness, plus 2 power, plus 2 fortitude, plus 0 evasion, plus 0 intellect, and I think that works out really, really well. So that's really good. Everything else the same. We're level 2 now, HP of 12. So yeah, I think we are looking really good. But we have lost the capture recording. So that is definitely something we're going to have to focus on next time. But that is where we're going to leave today's stream, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much to everybody who has watched this one, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, make sure you go and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well. We're into a brand new setting on the channel with that of Galador, which is an amazing setting. I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. We're going to have multiple sessions of getting into this one sooner rather than later. And yeah, really looking forward to it. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it. And if you do, make sure you go and hit make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye now.